we talk about gun violence, and it certainly, can shock the conscience, but just imagine that this isn't a theoretical debate, but a personal one. Our next guest knows firsthand the devastation of gun violence. Jackie Rowe Adams lost 2 of her sons in 2 separate crimes at the hands of illegal weapons. Jackie joins us now, and I want to thank you very much for sharing, obviously, a very personal and very painful story for you. And 4 years ago, you started Harlem Mother Save, and I'm sure this was an organization you never wanted to found, but it's because of 2 people very close to you no longer with us. And why don't we first talk about Anthony? Because as I understand it, he walked into a store, looked the wrong way apparently at somebody.
And the fellas that was in the store said, why is, they said some words, looking at us, we should kill that person. And the store owner said, after he told us the story, the store man, he didn't pay me any mind. And they just kept saying, we should follow him and kill him. We should kill him. And when Anthony left the store, they followed him from 123rd Street to 122nd, where my parents was living at the time, and he was going to visit them. As he went upstairs on the second step to go on the stoop, at the time it was a stoop, the second step, that's when they actually shot him. And the store owner heard about it, and he came around. That's how we know what happened. And he saw the fella that had the gun, and he's yelled, that's him, that's him, that's him, that's the one who killed him, that's the one who shot him. I mean, he didn't know he was dead at the time, but they said they were gonna kill him. And this is, and I commend, I lost track of the store owner, but I commend him because he was brave to do that.
It's just the senselessness
yes,
of it.
Senseless,
you look at somebody and then
you don't like how I'm looking at you.
Now, I can only imagine you're dealing with the loss of 1 son, and then soon thereafter, you have another son,
So,
28-year-old Tyrone. And the thing that shocked me about this, a 13-year-old with a gun takes your second child.
A 13-year-old, a 13-year-old that my son was helping, and we used to give him clothes for this kid because the kid mother was a crackhead and out in the street, and the kid was like in the street and people was helping him. And a 13-year-old was so ungrateful. Someone put him up to killing my son. But he actually pulled a trigger because they knew that he was too young to go to jail. And he actually shot him point range right here in the head.
I can only imagine conversations you have with other mothers in this group that you never wanted to have to found. And there's stories like yours, aren't there?
Let me tell you, Fritz, let me start by saying, I found out years later about a support group because actually everybody think, oh, I could do it, I don't need any help. Well, first of all, I didn't even know help exists in terms of support for the pain and suffering that the parents endure when they lose a loved one. Fortunately enough, I had my church and my family and people in the community to really, help me get past some of this. You never get over it, because just like it was years ago that I lost my kids, the pain is just like yesterday. But because I do the work that I do, it helped me by letting me know that I'm helping another mother. But when you listen to these stories, you think yours is bad. I have parents in a group that have lost 4 kids to murder. 3 kids to murder.
You're going to hear people at home, not tonight, because they would never say it to you, obviously, with what you went through, but say, you know what, guns don't kill people, people kill people. A criminal's going to find a gun no matter what. What do you say to people?
I hear it all the time. I hear it all I hear it a lot. You know what I say to people? Guns kill people. People kill people. But it's the illegal guns that someone is putting in our young people's hand. When you talk about 13-year-old killed my second son, you talk about someone put that gun in his hand. And it was an illegal gun. When you talk about when my 17-year-old got killed, someone gave that person the gun illegally, put it in his hand. So if you put a gun in someone's hand, they kill people because they have access, free access to these illegal guns. And today it's frequent.
When you hear this debate going on about what we ought to do about this, and I don't hear anybody saying, "I got to take all the guns away in America," but it's making it harder for bad people to get their hands on it. And some people say, "I don't want to go down that road." What would you say to them?
Well, just like I said today, before I got here, matter of fact, it was so funny because I saw Basil. He just held this morning, a gun forum with the Urban League, and he spearheaded it. And what we say to them is, we must get these guns off the street. We must start paying attention to these kids. We must listen to what these kids have to say. And the thing is, if you see something, say something. It's not snitching, it's saving a life.
And finally, because we don't have a lot of time here, Jackie, but to these gun stores, and we're going to be talking to a gun store owner tomorrow who basically says, it's not my job. Guy comes in here, if he looks the right part, I'll give him whatever he asks for. And those same guns end up on the streets, not just of Harlem, but of Jersey City, of Newark, of wherever else that we're talking about. What do you say to the gun seller if he says it's not my job to have to ask too many questions?
I just recently had that conversation again with Assemblyman Keith Wright, who, by the way, helped us start our organization. But one of the things we were talking about, they need background check. If he say it's not my job, it is your job. Anyone could just walk in, you don't check, do a background check, they don't have license. Look at all the killings that's going on. It is your job to help save a life. It is your job. So when they say that, if I hear that, and if they say that, no, it is your job to save a life. You're talking about a human being, because it was my child today, and it could be yours tomorrow.
Jackie Rowe Adams, I appreciate a few minutes. I'm really sorry for your loss, but I appreciate you talking about the subject so openly. I'm sure a lot of people hopefully sitting up and taking attention.